Hi everyone, today we learn about RAM and ROM. RAM, Random Access Memory. What is RAM? So, definition of RAM is the hardware in a computing device where the operating system, application programs and data in current use are kept so they can be quickly reached by the device's processor. RAM is much faster to read and write than other kind of storage because it has a very fast part to computer CPU, that is the brain that does most work. Data is retained on RAM as long as the computer is on. That means as we switch off the computer, data is transferred to hard drive of computer. When the computer is rebooted, the OS and other files are reloaded into RAM, usually from an HDD or STD. Why is RAM used? RAM cannot store permanent data. It is like a person's short-term memory and hard drive is like person's long-term memory. RAM can only focus at limited number of facts at any one time, so as the short-term memory fills up, it can be referred with data stored on hard drive. There are two types of RAM, SRAM and DRAM. This is image of actual RAM in CPU. In the background, there is an SRAM by Alliance Company. Full form of SRAM is Static Random Access Memory. SRAM retains data as long as power is supplied to it. It doesn't need to get periodically refreshed like a dynamic RAM. Though static RAM provides faster access to data, it is costlier than dynamic RAM. It is used in cache memory and video card, or famously known as graphic card. Cache memory is auxiliary memory for high-speed data retrieval. In the background there's a DRAM. DRAM. Full form of DRAM is Dynamic Random Access Memory. Dynamic RAM is a type of memory that is typically used for data or program code that processor needs to function. So out here the data or program code is basically a code in machine language that makes the processor function. DRAM is generally used in workstations, servers and personal computers as it is cheaper than SRAM. DRAM stores each bit in storage cell consisting of capacitor and transistor. Only one transistor and capacitor are required per bit compared to 4 or 6 transistors in SRAM, making it cheaper than SRAM.
Now we are going to discuss about ROM, also known as read-only memory. Now what is ROM, which is very important to understand? It is a permanent and a non-volatile memory that is used to store data on personal computers. Non-volatile meaning it stores information even after the power supply is cut. It is used to store essential programming which is necessary for the computer to boot, like the BIOS. It cannot be changed once programmed, and it requires special equipment to erase and rewrite. These chips are basically located all over your motherboard for some crucial purpose. How is this read-only memory different from other types of memory? Read-only memory is clearly not the secondary memory like hard disk drives where the data can be read and erased n number of times. ROM is also non-volatile and can store data even after the power is cut, which differentiates it from RAM. ROM is unique and plays a very important role in computer hardware to store super important stuff. Coming to the types of memory, ROM can be divided into basic ROM, PROM, EEPROM, EEPROM and flash memory. Let us understand each of them in detail. This is the image of ROM embedded inside a motherboard.
Starting with PROM, also known as Programmable Read-Only Memory. The data here is permanent and cannot be modified once the data is burnt into the chip. The data in the standard ROM is written at the time of manufacture, while in a PROM it is programmed after manufacture, which is the major difference between them, which makes it favorable for the companies to put their own firmware into the chip and use it in their products.
The next type of ROM is EEPROM, also known as Erasable Programmable Read-Only Memory. This is an extension of the PROM we already discussed. So what makes it different is that it is erasable by exposing it to strong ultraviolet rays. Now if you see the image, there's a slight hole which is transparent, which helps in erasing the data in it. An EEPROM chip is used to store the BIOS settings of the computer. And finally, we have EEPROM, also known as Electrically Erasable Programmable Read-Only Memory. The basic difference between this and its previous counterpart is that it can be erased electronically by applying special programming signals. Flash memory uses this types of EEPROM for high speed and density. As it has small erase blocks which can be erased and reprogrammed, it is used in microcontrollers too.